everybody, Karen Roby and Lisa Hornig here for Tech Republic. And Lisa, you put together a really interesting, a really cool article here for us on Tech Republic. And the title of it, Learn a Language Before Your Next Trip with These Apps. And I know that this was an article you put together from your own personal experience, something you wanted to do. Tell us about it.
So I went on a trip in September for 2 weeks to Germany and France, mostly Germany though. And for about 4 months before my trip, I studied German on some apps and really worked hard to try to learn the language as best I could before my trip. Although most Germans do speak English, so it wasn't difficult to get around, but it just helped.
Yeah, and you were telling me you actually had earlier in life in school. Is that right? You did take this.
I took German in college, but that was a really long time ago.
So you needed a refresher.
I definitely needed a refresher. And it's very different learning on an app than in a class, because in a class, you're encouraged to speak to each other. And when you're on an app, you're just doing it yourself. Although most of the apps will have you speak into the app and it will grade you. But you don't get used to speaking. So I found that when I was trying to speak to people in German, like ordering food or something, I was very panicked.
Right, but you do feel like it made a difference having refreshed your memory through the app, though.
Yeah, absolutely, it did, and it made me feel more confident.
Yeah, and so, Lisa, I know part of the thing that you covered here in the article is why it's important for business people, or really anybody, to become familiar with languages, especially before they travel.
Absolutely. When you travel for business, you want to be respectful of the places that you're going to. And when you make an effort, even if it's a bad effort, when you make an effort, it really makes people happy. And you can see it when you check into a hotel room, when you order food, when you meet this colleague from another country. If you make an effort to speak at least a little bit, they will be very flattered and very happy. If you walk in there without any knowledge of the language and don't seem to care about it, they see that. And they may not be rude, but they feel it. And so it's always a good idea to learn as much as you can before you go. And for regular people who are going on a vacation, it helps a lot too. It helps you find your way around. You can read the signs. That was an amazing part. And Google Translate is nice, but doesn't really do everything correctly. Yeah.
Right. Well, just the comfort level alone of feeling a little bit more secure has got to help.
Yeah, you can. When you're in a train station, you can see the signs and say, "Oh, this is where I need to go, and this is where I can find a place to change money, and this is where I can find a taxi stand." So it helps a lot. We found that getting around was just so much easier understanding the language. So.
Yeah, and it's with technology now, there's really no excuse for us. It makes it easy for us. So talk a little bit more, or expand on some of the apps specifically that you wrote about here.
Probably the most popular one that most people know about is Rosetta Stone. It originally was a program that you buy, and it was very expensive, and also the government uses it for the State Department and the military when they need people to learn languages. So it's definitely a good app. Nowadays you can get it on your phone, you can use it on your computer, and it's still the most expensive one, but it's much more reasonable. You can even get lifetime memberships sometimes for a couple $100s, which is much less than it used to be.
Right.
And so Rosetta Stone is going to have the slickest interface because you're paying a lot for it.
Right.
So it's going to be better in many ways. I liked it. I felt that it was good, but it wasn't the one that I used the most. The one I use the most is an app called Memrise, and I like it for a lot of reasons. What I didn't like about Memrise was that they didn't have a good explanation of the grammar. Some apps have better explanation of grammar than others, and this one didn't. But Memrise has something called Learn with Locals, where they have videos of people saying German phrases in German or whatever language you're trying to learn. I liked it because they use different dialects. Some people mumble, some people speak clearly, and it can be frustrating, but that's what you're going to encounter in real life. So you can watch what they're saying, and sometimes I was watching it and going, what in the world are they saying? But you learn to hear it and you learn to listen for it. And so that's probably the one that I use the most. Another thing about Memrise is that you can learn programming languages on it. And right now I'm learning HTML on it, so that's kind of fun.
Yeah, very useful.
Another one that I did was called Busu, and Busu is probably the most economical as far as what you're going to spend on there, but it's just as good as the others, I think. And it has a good explanation of the grammar. And that really made me happy because I'm a person who likes to know why things are the way they are.
Right.
And that one did a really good job of explaining the grammar. Another one is Duolingo. That's kind of popular. It's free, which is really nice.
That's really nice.
Yeah, you can do a premium for $9.99 a month, but most people don't need that. And it's nice, but I found it to be a little buggy. When I first downloaded, I couldn't get it to work. So I had to get in touch with the company to try to find out, what's going on. Another app that I had tried was Babble. Babble is pretty popular. Most people like it. It's kind of, I would say, mid-range between Busu and Duolingo and Rosetta Stone. It's kind of mid-range. So it gets the job done. It teaches you a lot. And most of these apps, pretty much all of them, use multiple choice. It'll give you a phrase and you match the words to it. And then eventually you have to type the words and they check your spelling and things like that. So that's how they teach it to you. And it's really pretty easy to learn.
So a lot of really great options.
Yeah.
Is what you found and through, your own personal experience have been able to put it all together in one place there. So all in all, did you have a great trip? You go back?
I did. It was amazing.
Yes.
It was amazing.
And definitely knowing some of the language ahead of time helped.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, there's a great deal of information here on Tech Republic and Lisa's story and the apps all listed there for you. You've got the prices listed and all that good stuff. So make sure you check it out. And thanks for watching.